Winning a fearful avoidant. X-back is not merely about rekindling a relationship. It's about understanding the intricate dance between fear, attachment, and the courage to embrace change. Today, we journey through a success story that illustrates the labyrinthine process of reclaiming love from a partner whose heart has long been shielded by the armor of fearful avoidance. Imagine a moment suspended in time, one that occurs on a chilly evening in March 2020, when Heather, a brave soul navigating the tempest of a military breakup, received the shattering news while on a drive home from her boyfriend's parents' house. Picture the scene, the road stretching out like an endless ribbon, the car humming along, and suddenly, amidst the gentle hum of conversation, he reveals that he no longer sees a future for them, a future that was once woven from dreams and whispered promises. In that instant, Heather's world turned topsy-turvy, and the seeds of doubt and despair were sown. But here is the paradox. Despite the crushing blow of separation, Heather's journey does not end in resignation. Instead, it becomes a quest to win back a fearful avoidant ex, to mend the fragile bridge of connection that had been damaged by the pressures of impending deployment and the unyielding pull of family expectations. Her story is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, to the belief that even when a partner retreats into the shadows of his own fears, there remains a glimmer of hope, a chance to rebuild what was lost. At the very heart of this process lies the concept of no contact, a period of intentional absence designed not to punish, but to create space for healing and reflection. Heather recounts how, in the aftermath of their breakup, she embraced a 21-day no-contact rule. It was a time of quiet introspection, where the silence of his absence became a mirror reflecting her own inner strength and a canvas on which she could reimagine herself. The no-contact period, though fraught with uncertainty and the sting of loneliness, was a critical step in recalibrating her sense of self-worth. It allowed her to disentangle her identity from the constant need to please him and to rediscover the vibrant, independent woman she had always been. Throughout this period, Heather experienced the agonizing push and pull of her ex's fleeting messages. Those polite, almost measured texts that were reminiscent of a man caught between the need to maintain distance and the faint, lingering hope of reconnection. His words, often brief and cool, masked a deeper turbulence, a struggle to reconcile the desire for intimacy with an overwhelming fear of vulnerability. For Heather, each message was a bittersweet reminder of what had once been and what might be again. If only the timing were different, if only the internal barriers could be dismantled. In a conversation that could have easily been lost to the chaos of hurt and misunderstanding, Heather and her ex eventually re-engaged. They spoke, not as adversaries locked in a battle of wills, but as two wounded souls seeking solace in the possibility of a renewed bond. It was during one of these emotionally charged conversations, late at night when the weight of separation felt most unbearable, that a breakthrough occurred. Heather found the courage to ask, calmly yet firmly, whether a break or a fresh start might offer a path forward, especially given the uncertainty of his impending deployment overseas. Her approach was subtle yet profound. Rather than lashing out in despair or pleading for immediate reconciliation, she allowed space for both rational reflection and emotional processing. She suggested a trial period, a pause that would give them both time to think, to heal, and to evaluate what they truly desired from each other. This conversation, though tinged with sorrow, was a turning point. It underscored a crucial principle, that winning back a fearful avoidant ex is not about forcing a reunion, but about creating conditions in which both partners can feel safe to re-engage. Heather's strategy was not without its challenges. The period following their breakup was marked by long stretches of silence, punctuated by brief, ambiguous texts that left her oscillating between hope and despair. During these moments, she learned to lean into her own resilience, using the time to rebuild her life, focusing on her career, her health, and her passions. It was through this process of self-reinvention that she began to radiate a newfound confidence. And confidence, as many of you might already know, is irresistible. When Heather dedicated herself to self-care, she inadvertently sparked a shift in her ex's behavior. I recall how he would, on occasion, mention in passing, "I miss the way things were," or hint that the distance had made him realize how much he valued her presence. Such expressions, however fleeting, were not merely nostalgic. They were indicative of a man slowly coming to terms with his own vulnerabilities. His brief moments of engagement, such as agreeing to a group camping trip or responding thoughtfully to her text messages, signaled that beneath the guarded exterior lay a heart that yearned for connection. Heather recognized these subtle cues and allowed them to guide her actions. Instead of flooding him with incessant messages, she struck a delicate balance, maintaining a respectful distance while remaining emotionally available. This balancing act is the essence of winning a fearful, avoidant ex back. It is about honoring his need for space while gently reminding him of the value of intimacy. Heather's story serves as a blueprint for those who find themselves in similar situations. She emphasizes that the key is not to force a resolution or to chase after him with desperation, but to cultivate an environment in which both individuals can thrive independently and together. By focusing on her own growth, she not only restored her self-worth but also demonstrated that a relationship with her would be a source of mutual enrichment rather than a chain that binds. It is important to acknowledge that this journey is rarely linear. There will be setbacks, moments when the re-engagement seems to falter, when the texting phase turns into a prolonged push and pull that leaves one feeling more isolated than ever. Heather describes these phases with a mixture of wit and wisdom, noting that such turbulence is not a failure, but rather a natural part of the process. Each instance of withdrawal or hesitant communication is an opportunity for both partners to reassess and realign their expectations. It is a process of gradual de-escalation, where the ultimate goal is to achieve a state of mutual understanding and emotional security. As we reflect on Heather's experience, one must appreciate the complexity of navigating relationships with fearful, avoidant individuals. Their behavior, though often perplexing, is rooted in a deep-seated need to protect themselves from the potential pain of intimacy. For them, the prospect of emotional closeness is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it offers the promise of fulfillment and connection. On the other, it threatens to expose the vulnerabilities they have spent years concealing. Winning them back is not about eliminating this tension altogether, but about learning to live with it, to manage it, and ultimately to use it as a bridge rather than a barrier. In the final analysis, Heather's success is a testament to the transformative power of patience, self-care, and effective communication. Her journey reminds us that even when an ex appears to have retreated into the shadows of fearful avoidance, there remains a path back, a path paved with thoughtful actions, measured responses, and a steadfast commitment to growth. It is a path that requires both partners to be honest about their needs and to work together to create a relationship that honors individuality while nurturing intimacy. Thank you for joining me in exploring this intricate journey of winning a fearful, avoidant ex back. May Heather's story inspire you to approach your own relationships with courage, compassion, and a willingness to embrace both independence and connection. Remember, every setback is merely a stepping stone towards a more secure, fulfilling partnership.
If you believe this video might help someone dear to you, share it with them. A small gesture on your part could mean the world to a friend in need.